Scholastic All-Star, Aaron Hare. Did you know that was coming, or was it a surprise?
No, I didn't really know until I saw it on, I think, Facebook. I saw someone shared it, a Community All-Stars post. So.
Well, you're the guy. You're the representative.
Guess so.
From
Yeah, it was a big honor. I was proud to get it and excited that they picked me.
Now, does sports come naturally in your family? Is that a long-standing? Your grandfather, your dad?
I guess part of it, yeah. We've definitely been involved in a lot of sports. My grandpa, especially at Frewsburg. So it just kind of wasn't like a choice. It's just kind of, well, you're born into it, I guess you could say.
So was there, as you were growing up, was there a sport you gravitated towards?
I think originally it was football for me. Actually, growing up playing like midget football, and I had 2 ACL tears when I was 6th and 7th grade, so I didn't keep playing into high school. I played my freshman year, but after that, I decided to let that go, and then the focus turned to baseball after that.
And as a baseball, you had your dad and grandpa played baseball?
Yeah, my dad and grandpa both did, and then my brother, I got to watch him play high school when I was growing up, and then before that, my sister played softball, and I got to watch her, so I was kind of always around the diamond sports through travel or high school, and then when she played at Mercyhurst, I was at all her games mostly, and so yeah, I just kind of grew up around it, I guess.
As a position, was there going through the little leagues and ultimately up through high school, a favorite position of yours? Was it?
Probably pitching. I would say pitching growing up. I just like to do it, and that's what I was most successful in.
Was your coach, did you have a certain coach along the way that sort of took you under his wing and said, Aaron, you got some talent?
I think my dad, honestly. My dad's who's helped me. He pitched in college at Edinboro when they still had a baseball program, so he knows a little bit about pitching, and he's been helping me every step of the way with the pitching wise of that game. He knows a lot of it, but pitching especially.
So when you're really young and you got sometimes often a strong arm, they're always worried about you over pitching or pitching too much or straining it. Did your dad guide you along that way?
Yeah, he's always been pretty cautious when it comes to overthrowing and overuse, and he's big on schedule and when to throw hard and when not to. So I've been pretty lucky with that. I've never really ran into an issue with my arm soreness wise.
Was there a schedule when you were designated by the manager to say, tonight, Aaron, you're going to take the ball, where you had so many hour before, where there was a routine that you had?
Yeah, I got into a routine the last few years. I got into the Driveline throwing program.
What's that?
It's an off-season throwing program. It's like a lot of weighted balls and a lot of loading skills, and it's just it's a lot of colleges have developed with it too. So I started that. You can buy a program, and that gets you into quite a schedule, and then you just keep that going into the regular season after you're done with the off-season throwing program.
Give me an idea of what it means on a daily basis.
The Driveline, it usually is different throwing drills with weighted balls, and there's a lot of frequencies. Like there's hybrid days where you do a lot of different throwing from a lot of different positions, and it depends on like how hard you're throwing. One day it could be 50% and then 80, and then there's velo days are called, where you usually have a radar gun and see how hard you're throwing these weighted balls. So it just varies per day. They schedule it for you, like what you should be doing each day, so you kind of follow that.
Now, at this point, you see some pitchers enjoy, for example, throwing long. I mean, in the outfield. Is that part of this programming?
Oh yeah, there's a long toss aspect to it. Not too much, not straining your arm way too much, because the weighted ball work is a lot of strain. It strengthens your throwing arm, like your throwing muscles, the specific muscles. So there's a little bit of long toss, but you kind of keep it not too much. You don't want to get to the point where your arm's hurting or anything like that before you've even started throwing in game or whatnot.
So it's game day. Aaron Hare is going to pitch. When do you go out and start warming up? You must, because it's pretty scientific.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot to it. Usually about, if it's a high school game, we get out of school at like 2:15, 2:20. Usually we're at the field by 3, and then I'm there by like 2:45. That's when I get a lot of like stretching and not any throwing yet. I don't start throwing until probably 30 minutes before the game. 15 minutes of just catching the outfield with the catcher, stretching it out a little bit of long toss, and then I'd say about 15 minutes first pitch is when I go down to the bullpen and ease into throwing hard, and then like my last probably 10 in the pen are all I have, and then try to just get that as close to going onto the mound in game as I can, because I don't want to sit around a little while after throwing that bullpen.
I always curious because obviously you watch the major leaguers and inevitably half an hour somehow they walk out to the bullpen
Right.
and there's the soft toss, a little bit of long toss, and then they really start gearing up. In between innings, I was curious about that because you don't know how long
Right.
you're going to be sitting on the bench. Do you wear a jacket? What do you do to keep?
It depends on the weather. Well, during our spring season, usually I'll throw on a hoodie and a jacket in between innings, and you can kind of get a feel in between the innings of how long the inning's going to go. Usually I wait, kind of see what happens with the first batter. If he gets on, you can tell things are going your way. That's when I get comfortable in the dugout and try to stay warm. But in spring too, I'm often hitting, so sometimes it depends on where I'm at in the order of that inning too. So if I was just like the last out in the last inning, then I'll throw everything on and then just sit there. But if I know I'm going to be up, I'll still throw a jacket on, but I'll have my batting stuff on too and be ready to go if I need to step up to the plate that inning.
When you're pitching, are you a talkative guy on the bench? Are you talking to the catcher? Are you one of those just simply thinking about the batters?
I think just thinking about the batters. I don't like to show a lot of emotion no matter how the game's going. It's just kind of how my dad raised me to just don't be emotional out there, because if you get too emotional, then the other team can kind of feed off of that. So I kind of try to stay just focused on the batter and what my catcher's calling and stuff like that.
Do you have a lot of catching? In high school, does catchers call a lot of pitches?
Yeah, the last few years, for me specifically, I was real comfortable with my catcher, Nick Marsh. He graduated a year before me. He's a Marine now, but I got real comfortable with him, and we called our own game, because sometimes coaches will give signs from the dugout, but I got comfortable enough with Nick that we were able to call our own game. He called the pitches for me, and if I had to shake him off, I would.
Do you know much about the other team's batting? Do you have scouting reports?
Yeah. Usually, like Max Preps is a good tool, especially in high school. If other teams have their stats on Max Preps, usually game day, I'll look through their stats and see who I need to look out for. And in this area, you know a lot of the other baseball players, so often you know on the team who you have to look out for. And the order is usually pretty strong towards the front. That's how they're built. It's not like college where every guy can get a handle on the ball. You usually can tell which batters you have to take it a little serious on.
Now, talk about Max Pro. I was online and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Hare is there. Does somebody track that for you? Is your coaches put that up on a daily basis? What happens?
Yeah, usually it's up to the coaches if they want their stats on Max Preps, and after every game, a lot of coaches have
Max Prep.
Preps. Yep. So it's for all high school sports. It's football, basketball, all of them. You can hook it up. Like, we use an iPad in this app called Game Changer that tracks the game throughout and pitches and stuff, and basically everything that's going on just for stats. And our coach was able to just upload those to Max Preps like as the game was over. And I know a lot of coaches. It's pretty easy to work with. You can just enter your own stats throughout the season.
Do you during the game have somebody have a laptop so you know when Mitch Pasquarella is going to be batting in Jamestown, and so somebody, are you able to have that electronic device?
We could. We have an iPad in the dugout. I've never used one in game.
But that's not that you can do it. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely possible with the technology we have now, and I know a lot of teams have iPads and stuff like that to use with the specific apps for baseball, which is pretty cool. But yeah, usually you'd be able to.
But you're not pitching every game, Aaron. When you're not pitching, where else are you playing?
Usually I'm corner infield, high school wise, third or first. I played a lot of third last year. We didn't have a set third baseman most of the year. it was between me and a couple other pitchers that when one pitcher wasn't throwing, then I was at third or whatnot. And so usually third or first base sometimes.
When you're not pitching, is that a different mindset when you're a batter? I mean, can you easily get your head out of just batting when you're a pitcher, or when you're as opposed to non-pitcher?
I don't know. I definitely think I understand the pitching a little more than kids who are just batters. I usually know, like, in the count, like, I think of what I'd throw if I were in that position. So that helps a little bit. Like, if it's a 2-0, I know probably coming with a fastball, and or if it's a 1-2 and he's thrown a couple fastballs, I know that it's probably an off-speed coming. So I think my mindset, I think as a pitcher when I'm hitting. Mm-hmm. So I think that helps a little bit, just knowing what to expect and what you would throw.
So who was the guy on the team who came up to you, Aaron, when you were having a bad inning? You know, you come in, you're just giving up 2-3 runs, a couple walks, just one of those innings. Mm-hmm. We've all had them.
Right.
And I had a lot of them, a ton of them. So who kind of comes up and says, Aaron, puts his arm around you and says, it's okay. Did you have somebody on the team?
Yeah, we definitely did. One of our catchers and outfielder, and he played all over. His name was Jason Dustin. He came to our program from Falconer a few years ago, and he was in my class. He's a senior this year, and he knew how to have fun, and he knew how to get guys when their heads were down. He knew how to pick them up and give them a little laugh. He was able to do that with what he said and how he acted in the dugout, and it was nice to have, definitely. Because you always knew that no matter how the inning went, Jason would be back in there just acting like himself, like we were up 10 runs, no matter what the situation was.
How was your season? This is now, you didn't have a season this year.
No, not this year.
So you're talking your junior year.
Junior year, we had a really good year. We ended up losing in the sectional final to Falconer at the stadium. I think it was like 3-1 or 4-2. Mm-hmm. But we had a nice year. I don't remember what our record was. We might have been like 14-7 or something like that. But we won our league, which was nice. We hadn't done that in a while. So it was a pretty successful year. Other than we weren't able to get done in the sectional game, which we were really hoping for this year because we thought this would be the year. We had a lot of guys back, and so
it's got to have been just an unfortunate year for you as a senior, not playing, probably not having the type of graduation ceremony that you expected, though it was, I understand, very well done.
Yeah, it was a nice ceremony.
Given the ceremony. And I also see you wearing an M hat for Mercyhurst.
Yep.
Is that an alma mater type school for you?
Not really. I got to know the coaches through my sister when she played softball there, and now I get to go there, which is pretty cool because I kind of grew up on campus, and it's definitely where I wanted to be, and I was really excited when I got the opportunity to commit there, and now in the fall go and play.
So there, at this point, to your knowledge, you're going to play fall ball there?
I'm not 100% certain on fall ball. We haven't heard much about that, but they've been pretty adequate on the fact that we're going back August 14th, which is a good sign for that. Good.
Have they given you, your baseball coach given you a program to work on over the summer?
Not this season. He keeps track of the guys, but it's pretty on your own during the summer. I'm assuming that next year after I'm there and get to know the program, though, that a lot of that stuff will carry over into the summer.
So you had signed up for the inaugural season of the Jamestown Tarp Scouts.
Yep.
How did that happen? How did did Jordan reach out to you? How did that go?
I'd gotten to know Coach Basil for a while through JCC, the possibility of me playing there, and then I got to know him through that. And this summer I was looking for options. I was part of the Regulators, Southern Tier, the local travel team, but I had been reached out by the Olean Oilers, and I was looking that I might play there. And within the same couple of days, my high school coach and travel coach, Coach Gran, had been in contact with Coach Basil and got me a good deal there. I was going to split the summer with Mitch Pascarella, so I was looking forward to that, but it didn't end up happening, unfortunately, but I'll be back next year, so that's good. Well,
we're excited to have you back, and in fact, we have a little video in the parking lot of 3Cs with you throughout the ceremonial first pitch with Mitch.
Yep. I think I was out of the bullpen that one, but
yeah, that's right. That's it.
I think Mitch started it off.
Actually, it was funny how I had the video of Mitch happened to. He was on the phone as if he was calling
Yeah,
to the board.
yeah, that was a good video. I like that. There was some good food there that day too.
Very good food. Jordan has talked to you. Does Jordan have a program? Because part of that is the Secrets of Champions under Dr. Carlo, because that's part of what the Tarp Skunks really offer to players.
Right.
Did you get into that program?
Yeah, I had a few online meetings with Dr. Carlo and a few other team members, and they were really helpful. Ours focused on a lot of nutritional and like a lot of more mental stuff that really was useful, like scheduling out like what you should be eating throughout the day and when, and what are good times to work out. And it was really helpful because I've been following that, and I've really liked it so far.
So are you currently throwing? I mean, are you?
Yep.
And do you have guys? Where do you work out?
I work out at my buddy's home gym, which I've been really lucky to have because none of the gyms in New York have been open. So I've still been lifting there, and I've been throwing with a couple different guys. I've been going down to Warren with a couple of my buddies that are both going to Mercyhurst next year. And then there's a catcher there that I've played with travel-wise, Aiden Morrison up at Canisius. He catches at Canisius. He's caught a few pens. And then my old high school catcher, Mark Mamoser, has been catching some pens when we're in Frewsburg. He catches at Penn State Barron now. And actually, I'm throwing in Erie on Sunday. I'm looking to throw a couple times this summer with Mark's Glenwood League team, which is like an adult league out in Erie. So I found somewhere to throw there, and I'm going to do that.
With live batters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, there's the guy we met from, the Three Seas Catering, Galati.
Mm-hmm. He's throwing.
He's throwing down in Butler, isn't he?
Yeah, down in Pennsylvania, and that I think one of the Elks teams or something like that. I've got a couple buddies in that league too, but yeah, that's good. A league down there too, that tri-state area league.
Because they're just playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been looking forward to that. I was hoping that the regulators would be able to play, but due to the restrictions, we weren't able to leave the state, which was where all our games were. So we had to cancel the in-state stuff. But luckily, that Erie thing opened up, so that'll be nice.
So tell me more about that league.
Glenwood, I don't know a whole lot about it. My brother played in it for a couple years. It's just an adult league. I don't know if it's like an under 24, but there's a lot of college guys in that league. A few of Matt's Pitt Bradford teammates play there that I'll be playing with, and then Mark. And it's a good league. It's a wood bat league. They play at Ainsworth Field over in Erie, so I'm looking forward to it just to see some real competition, some live competition. There's some good players in that league.
So your first game's coming up?
Yep, on Sunday.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
You know what you'll be doing? You're pitching?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw a couple innings. Mark told me that the coaches just split it up into a couple innings, a few different pitchers per game. It's not like I'm going to go out and throw 5 or 6 innings, just throw a few, ease into it. I haven't thrown live in almost a year, so.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah. So Mercyhurst in the fall, and by the way, I haven't asked, but what's your out pitch?
Mine, in high school wise, I've used my fastball. I've gotten decent velocity on it, so that's usually my go-to. But I've been working with a little slider and curve action. Actually, I threw with Connor Gray a few times since his season ended and stuff like that. And he's worked with me on a little bit of a slider that I've been trying to use and get a feel for. So I've been working on that. I'm pretty confident in the pitch right now. So, and then I've been working on a changeup as well. Just trying to get a good mix going into Mercyhurst.
So, but when you get to Mercyhurst, they've designated you pretty much as a pitcher?
Yep. I'm just going to pitch there. That's the plan right now.
And normally in a college environment, do they play how many times normally a week, or what's a season?
Season is usually around 40 plus games, depending on how far you go in the postseason. Mercyhurst the last few years, they made it to the World Series, so they played a lot of extra games.
They're good, man.
Yeah, it's a great program. And PSAC wise, the conference, they usually do weekends like Saturday, Sunday. 2 games at, say if you're playing Slippery Rock, it'd be 2 games at Mercyhurst, 2 games at Slippery Rock. That's how they do their conference stuff. And then usually they'll have a midweek game on like a Wednesday against Lake Erie College or someone out of the conference.
Saturday, Sunday? So.
Yeah, that's the conference stuff. Yeah. Those are the important games are in those days.
So in a normal 40 game schedule, you might be pitching 10 games?
Yeah. usually they do a good job. They have a lot of relief pitchers, and their weekend guys are usually set the starters. Usually have 4 set starters that go through the year, and they've had some really good pitchers the last couple of years. So that'd be exciting to see what I'm able to do there, pitching wise, developing with. They've done a good job. They've had a lot of draft picks pitching wise, so I'm excited to see how they'll develop me and all the other pitchers coming in.
Well, that's exciting. So as you're looking forward to it, do you have any kind of thoughts as you're leaving Frewsburg, moving your way to Mercyhurst, stepping up to college? Right. As you look back, any regrets, anything?
I wouldn't say I had regrets. I left it all on the line. It seems like the last few years, given everything we had, and sports-wise, I don't have regrets. Academically, I put in my time over the 4 years, and I'm pretty happy with how that ended up. So I wouldn't say I have any regrets. It's definitely going to be an adjustment. Luckily, I'm only 50 minutes away from home, so it's not like I'm going too far away. But it'll be exciting to see how it is and kind of start living that college life and seeing what that's all about.
You pitched a no-hitter your junior year.
Yep.
So what was it like that last batter?
Honestly, I figured I'd be nervous. I didn't want to think about it once the game started going, but once it gets to the 6th or 7th inning and I kind of start thinking about it, you're trying not to talk about it, you don't want to jinx it or anything, but I think my adrenaline took over the last inning, honestly. I got excited. I wanted to get it done, and I think when that last pitch was thrown, it was a big sigh of relief. It was almost like I was more nervous about losing it than I was and excited about getting it, but it was definitely a sigh of relief, and a lot of joy came, and it was a good time.
Was it a strikeout?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we're excited in Jamestown to have you part of our group.
More than excited to be here, stay in town. It's a great environment, the ballpark down at Dietrich, and I can't wait for that.
Well, we can't wait either. 2021 will be just here before you know it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.